Less than a month remains in the regular season. Which teams have the playoffs in their future? We'll look at the possibilities. For the second time in March, a coaching change is made. Plus, big games and big careers. We'll have details. All that and more right now on ECHL Week.
Hello and welcome to another edition of ECHL Week. This time we come to you from Huntington Center in Toledo, Ohio, home of the Toledo Walleye. Less than a month remains in the regular season schedule. Time to check out how all the playoff races are shaping up.
The Kelly Cup playoffs are scheduled to begin the week of April 18th. Between now and then, all 16 postseason spots will have to be locked down. Let's check out the teams which are looking good in terms of preparing for the playoff party and which teams still have work to do. In the Eastern Conference, Reading and Newfoundland, at the top of the North Division heap all season, look as if they'll join the South Division pacesetters Atlanta, Florida, and Jacksonville in extending their seasons beyond the third week of April. It would take major efforts from multiple teams below them in the standings to change that. In the Western Conference, only division frontrunners Toledo and Utah have that kind of security. So, if those 7 teams are in, that means 9 more positions are open. And there are more questions than answers about which teams will claim those berths, the top 4 spots in each division. In the Mountain, Rapid City is in decent shape if it continues its recent strong run. But Idaho, Allen, Tulsa, and Kansas City are close enough that if any of them put a decent winning streak together, that will probably be enough to propel them into the playoffs. The Central is also logjammed. Defending champ Fort Wayne, currently in second, has put some distance between it and the pack. But Wheeling, Cincinnati, Kalamazoo, and Iowa range from 6 games to 1 game over 500. That's a margin which can be quickly made up when you're doing battle against the teams you're trying to catch. A 3-team race for 2 playoff spots has shaped up in the north with Worcester, which has had a great March, Trois-Rivières, and Maine, all capable of finishing 3rd, or 4th, or 5th. The South Division seems to be the simplest race to analyze. Orlando and Greenville, which recently went on a 10 wins and 13 games run, are battling for the final spot there. And this weekend, 2 of the remaining 3 games between the Solar Bears and Swamp Rabbits are scheduled in Central Florida. Odds are whichever team fares best in these head-to-head matchups will earn that opening round task against the eventual South champion. Remember that, with just a few exceptions, all of the remaining games on the schedule feature intra-divisional battles. That means that even if your team is accruing points, chances are that others nearby in the standings may be collecting some too. Of course, we'll let you know where things stand in upcoming ECHL Week shows, but don't forget to follow our social media accounts for timely updates, including when teams clinch playoff spots, which could start happening as soon as this weekend. Now that the National Hockey League trading deadline has passed, ECHL teams are also working toward finalizing their rosters. And this Thursday, March 31st, is the final day for ECHL teams to make deals. Although many trades have been made over the past few weeks, you can be sure that at least a few more will be agreed upon leading up to the 3 p.m. Eastern Time finish line. Remember, our annual trading deadline show, in which we'll recap all the moves made during the final week of player swapping, will debut on Friday, April 1st at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Don't miss it. At the start of this season, there were 9 teams with new head coaches in the ECHL. Here's a conversation with another one of them, Scott Burt of the Rapid City Rush. Things have gone pretty well for Burt and the Rush so far, and under his guidance this season, Rapid City is looking to earn a Kelly Cup playoff spot for the first time since 2015. Burt's happy he's finally made it to a head coaching role.
Well, it's been a long time coming. I've been an assistant in the Western League for 6 and 2 up in Alaska in the ECHL, and then obviously 2 in Idaho. So a long time coming. Learned from a lot of good, outstanding head coaches that had a lot of knowledge. It's kind of what I've expected. You know, when I left Spokane and went to Idaho, it was an opportunity for myself to get back in the pro game. You know, understanding being a player for 13 years, then obviously coaching and getting back into it. So I knew it was coming, just a matter of time, and everything has been exceeding expectation.
ECHL coaches are asked to help players develop and win games too. Burt's been successful in both areas so far.
And my job is to maximize the potential of every player and giving guys opportunities to get to the American League and stay there. So, you know, at times it does come a little bit challenging, but also at times it's rewarding for some of the players, guys such as Stephen Bayless and Logan Nelson, who haven't had the opportunity to get to the American Hockey League, and those guys getting those opportunities. So we've had a fluctuation of players up and down, and it's been good for our group. It puts certain players in different situations where we as coaches get another look at, can they do that, can they not do that, can they play in this area, can they not play in this area.
But despite being in his first season as the head coach, Burt already understands that in addition to winning games, he's helping the Rush to build a lasting reputation both on and off the ice.
So you don't know on a daily basis who you have or who's your personnel that game from game to game. So for us, it's shift by shift, day by day, game by game, and that's all we're worried about. Our goal at the beginning of the year is not to win a Kelly Cup. Our goal is to make the playoffs, and then we'll see what happens from there. So our guys have bought in. Our guys are enjoying where we're at, and you're starting to hear that Rapid City maybe hasn't had the best outcome or look the last few years. Now guys are wanting to come here. We're hearing from other teams and other players that are saying, hey, listen, hey, is there a chance? What do you think of this player? Like, now our guys are starting to talk, and we're starting to get talked throughout the league, and it's a good reputation because Rapid City's a great spot. Our ownerships have been great. Presidents been great. The whole facility and everything's been great with us so far. So they want to continue to build. We want to continue to build, and we'll just go day by day, foot by foot.
News and highlights are next on ECHL Week.
Thinking of selling your home? Now is the perfect time. Few homes are available for sale, and this increases the competition. Many homes are selling above asking price. Buyers are offering seller-favorable terms, few contingencies, closing dates that meet sellers' needs, large down payments, or all-cash offers. Want to know what homes like yours are selling for? Contact Will Springer today.
If you ever get to this part of the country and you're a hockey fan, you've got to get to Huntington Center to watch the Walleye play. It's a great atmosphere, among the best in the ECHL. Now let's check out news from around the league.
For the second time this season, a mid-season change has been made behind an ECHL bench. The Indy Fuel and Doug Christensen, who joined the team in 2019 as its third head coach, have agreed to part ways. Duncan Dalmeo, who had been the team's assistant coach, will finish the year as the Fuel's interim head coach. Prior to his arrival in Indy, Dalmeo spent 2 seasons as an assistant coach with defunct Brampton. The longtime player was ECHL Defenseman of the Year in 2001. Named to assist Dalmeo for the rest of the season is Cole Bell, who moves to the pro ranks after coaching junior teams in Maine. Indy's been close, but has had trouble getting to 500 for most of the season. With about a dozen games to play, the Fuel still needs to pass 3 Central Division teams to qualify for the Kelly Cup playoffs. South Carolina also made a coaching change in March. Defenseman Jacob Panetta, who was involved in an on-ice racially charged incident in January, has re-signed a contract and returned to Jacksonville. Panetta, who was originally suspended for the rest of the season, successfully completed a learning experience conducted in conjunction with the National Hockey League's Player Inclusion Committee. As such, he was permitted to apply for reinstatement. He returned to the ice for the Icemen on March 18th. Reading goaltender Pat Nagel, who's seen action in more than a dozen American Hockey League games this season and was also a member of the U.S. Olympic team, which competed in Beijing in February, has returned to the ECHL and promptly moved up on an all-time list. In the last 2 weeks, Nagel, who's in his 11th pro season, has achieved both his 200th ECHL victory and ascended to number 3 in all-time ECHL wins by a goalie.
There's been a lot of people before me that have done a phenomenal job, and just trying to go in there night in and night out and find ways to win. And luckily, obviously, I've been a part of some really good teams over the years and played with a lot of great teammates.
Earlier this month, forward Ryan Domowski was traded from South Carolina to Idaho. In his second game with his new team, he became just the second player in the ECHL this season to score 5 times in one game. In Idaho's 6-1 win over Mountain Division leader Utah, the only steelhead goal Domowski didn't score, he assisted on his first pro hat trick. In 34 seasons of ECHL hockey, Domowski's the 32nd player to score 5 times in one game. The league record is 6.
Bonjour, je suis Cédric Mormuni des Lions de Trois-Rivières et vous regardez ECHL Week.
There have been some great games around the league in the last week. Great games mean great highlights. Let's check some out.
Watch how the Atlanta Gladiators move the puck around on the power play prior to this goal by Cameron
And
Null.
it's 3-2. The Gladiators don't waste any time in capitalizing on the man advantage.
Here's Brett Gravel of Rapid City taking the game into his own hands and then ending it with this bullseye of an overtime goal.
Brett Gravel wins it in overtime, and Rapid City takes it. Their final score, the Rush 3 and the Mavericks 2.
And check out the sleight of hand for this shorthanded beauty by Reading's Braden Lowe.
Scored. Braden Lowe goes Peter Forsberg, a shorthanded goal, and it's 2-0 Royals with 8:13 to go in the first period. Lowe's 14th of the season.
That wraps up another edition of ECHL Week from Toledo, Ohio. Thanks very much for watching. Make sure to follow us on all of our social media channels. It's the best way to keep up to date on everything that's going on throughout the ECHL all the time. We'll see you next time.
We close today with the Nailers and fans post-game skate in Wheeling. Jared Cockrell spends on-ice time and perhaps makes a couple of new friends in the process.